Guys, believe it or not. Nico, I'm going to start with you. Believe it or not, Joe Burrow will make it right back to the Super Bowl.
I believe it. I believe they can make it back. I mean, you look at the Cincinnati Bengals and the momentum that they have right now. I feel like it's going in the right direction. Cincinnati, you don't want to see them in the playoffs. So, yes, they can get back to a Super Bowl.
Woody, believe it or not, Sean McVay can save Baker Mayfield's career.
Listen, Zeke was not going to change his stripes, man. Like, come on, this is not a knock on Sean McVay, and Sean McVay is an excellent coach, but we've seen Baker Mayfield go multiple organizations, and it's failed. So, listen, I like the fact that he's giving it a shot, but there's no change in this.
There's some grim-looking highlights. Bart, believe it or not, the Ravens will fall to the Steelers with no Lamar this week.
What you talking about, Willis? Harpo, everything you done to me, I've done to you. Ain't no good gonna come about you asking me them type of questions, Brian Custer. No, absolutely not. Listen, Tyler Huntley, is a guy that had them in every game last year when the same scenario happened. Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the same team. I understand they have TJ Watt, but with Stanley coming back today and Patrick Queen, I believe the Ravens can pull off a victory. It's going to be tight, though, because it's a divisional rival.
Bartholomew, I want you to take a look at this because the Ravens certainly are going to have to climb uphill without Lamar. Since 2018, when Jackson entered the league, the Ravens have won 74% of their games. Only Patrick Mahomes has a better record among active QBs. Yeah. But when Lamar does not start, the team just 6-10, and they're scoring down a full touchdown. All right, Graz, how worried are we about that knee?
I think look, I defer to the people who have had the knee injuries right on this set. Yeah. But my understanding is, it's likely to cost him a game or two in terms of playing. But the concern is, the question is, and again, you guys can tell me, when he comes back, a quarterback that uses his legs like this with a PCL injury, that's not going to be fully healed, right?
No. Well, Dr. Dinko, he's back. The PCL injury is weird because you actually injure it by hitting your knee on the ground. So when your knee drives into the ground, that's what hurts your PCL. And it's really a weird injury because there's no real fix for it. You just have to have time on your side and you have to let that thing heal, or it doesn't heal because it's inside. It's on the inside of your knee. So your ACL, PCL, they don't heal because they don't have a blood supply. I know that why? Because I've hurt both of them. So, like Julian Edelman, he didn't have PCLs, and he did that in college. So it takes time for your body to grow the muscles necessary, your hamstrings, your quad strength, all that stuff is really important to help your PCL if you don't have one, because you can play without a PCL. Yeah. But the problem is if in 2 or 3 weeks he goes back on the football field, he takes a hit, he lands on his knee again, that's when you have a problem. And he relies on his legs pretty much in everything that he does with the RPO, getting out of the pocket, throw from the run. So I think it's a big deal for the Ravens and Lamar.
Such a dark cloud, man.
So I'm just telling you what it is.
Do some blood spinning, man. He ain't going to fall on his damn kneecap again.
He ain't going to fall again?
Not on his kneecap. Just fall on your face.
Okay, just fall to the side.
Just fall on your face.
Fall on the shoulder, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, they're more equipped this time to handle it. And if it's going to be a couple of games, they have a lot of confidence in Tyler Huntley. And the difference is, they're not playing the Rams and they're not playing the Green Bay Packers last year. They have the easiest remaining schedule. When you think about it, they got Pittsburgh, they got Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh again, and then the showdown is going to be against the Bengals, and it should be for the division. So I have tremendous confidence that they can find a way to win because they have one of the best kickers in the game that's going to give them easy points as long as you get the football over the 40. Don't be pointing at
No, I'm just saying they got the Steelers. Steelers are coming. Believe it or not, Steelers are coming. You got the Bengals.
What good's an easy schedule do?
No, so now we worried about the Steelers.
I'm just saying, the Steelers are playing better.
You lost to the Jaguars. You barely beat the Broncos, who I think punt on second down now.
I mean, you got
to be able to beat the teams on the schedule in order for the easy schedule to help you.
So what you saying?
I didn't say it was going to be easy.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I still picked them the favorite. Who you have winning?
Bengals, man.
Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about this week.
On a bandwagon. Oh, who I have winning? Steelers?
Yes.
I picked the Steelers.
I got Steelers. I picked the Steelers.
They're at home.
I got the Steelers. You played for the Steelers.
Come on now, Bart.
They're going to be playing Renegade.
Listen,
it's going to be huge.
I'm not going to sit here.
You know it.
There's like two guys, two quarterbacks where their offense totally depends on them. Buffalo and Baltimore. Baltimore's whole team is just dependent on Action Jackson.
Said ain't so.
Tyler Huntley's cool and everything. Good quarterback. He's not Action Jackson.
Did you pick Purdy?
He's not Action Jackson. And
This man picked Purdy.
And the way that I say he would play better than Tom in his game. Yeah, I mean it's a bold prediction.
You said Purdy would beat Tom, but Huntley can't beat. They came down to the wire last year. It's not like Huntley doesn't have experience. He has a lot of the same skill sets. I can't believe
Bro, y'all barely scraped past.
I don't even know this guy.
Well,
Y'all
this is all I know. The two teams that
Yeah.
Bart played for, the Jets are winning the division and the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. Maybe he's got to,
Come on, Sam Adams. You know who you pick every time.
By the way,
Best
Sam
longer
Adams,
ever.
it is great longer. I like the Boston
considering
longer
you're Mr.
now.
Raven, how does this injury, though, impact his contract situation going forward?
I don't think it hurts his contract situation. We watched Dak Prescott in the midst of a contract situation, hurt his leg and have a catastrophic injury, right? So listen, his floor has already been set. Lamar Jackson bet on himself to raise his ceiling as far as how much he can make. So his floor is already set. They know how valuable he is. He's a former MVP. He's fine as far as getting his money, but he can make more money if he shows up and shows out in the post.
What does this mean for the Bills?
Well, it's bad. Look, the reason I know. That's why you come for the
That's a bold prediction. Bold prediction right there.
First take is next. No, the reason they went out and signed Von Miller, I've been talking to Bills GM Brandon Beane earlier this year. He said, we couldn't get Patrick Mahomes on the ground on third down in the playoffs the last 2 years. This is a guy we feel like can help us. And sure enough, they go into Kansas City earlier this year, and Von takes over the game in the fourth quarter. So and gets Patrick Mahomes on the ground. So he proved that it was the right move. Without him, they're going to need somebody else to do that. If they had somebody else who could do that, they wouldn't have gone out and signed Von Miller for all that money in free agency. No amount of cliche spewing by the quarterback, right? Like next man up, one game at a time, whatever it is he's saying, can fix that.
Yeah.
They are in some trouble. Now again, everything's relative. They're still a very good team. They're still a playoff team. Yeah. They could still win the playoff in the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. But they believed this was the missing piece, and now he's missing again.
Nico, do they win the Super Bowl with Von Miller out?
No, I don't think they do. I think that you brought him in for a reason. That was to get to the quarterback. And listen, your like margin for error in the playoff is razor thin. So when you bring in a player like Von Miller, you're trying to gain a play. You're trying to gain one possession to where it puts you over the top. And last year, you saw that against the Chiefs. They needed one play, and they weren't able to do it. That's why they went out and got Von Miller. That's why he's been able to close out games and get sack fumbles, get the ball off teams, and give his offense another opportunity. So I think that not having him in the playoffs is going to be a really big factor in them creating turnovers.
And it's the psychological effect of it, right?
Yeah, that's
he's the guy that you brought in. Like what happens most of the time when it's critical plays, the guy to have it. Good players can make plays just sporadically. Great players make timely plays. And they brought him in there to make timely plays.
That's it.
He was a closer, so now somebody else has to step up. I think this really puts them in a tough spot because now when you think about it, they're going to have to come out of character and when try and get pressure, they're going to have to try and blitz. And that's going to put that secondary, in a bind. I know Tre'Davious White is back, but without him being there, being a closer, that means they're going to have to be more aggressive. And that's going to expose that defense and not allow them to play that bend, don't break. I think this puts them third in the AFC, in my opinion, as far as the Super Bowl, because they're good, but Joe Burrow has the closer. Trey Henderson's over there. Yeah. He's a guy that can close out. They already have Patrick Mahomes' number. It's Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, and then the Buffalo Bills, and then the field.
Remember, they are short on the back end, right? Micah Hyde, the safety, is not coming back. He's out for the year. Poyer's been hurt, so yeah.
Sorry. And I would add this, too. When you go on IR, you're not helping the guys on the field play.
Yeah.
Like you can say, the tackle's setting this way. Go give him the rip that I would do. They were like, we can't do the way
you don't game plan for nobody else on that offensive line.
Exactly.
You have the game plan for.
When you talk about Von Miller, see what Von Miller does. He makes everybody else better.
Yeah.
All the other guys
on the field.
he makes he makes all those guys on the defensive line better. Those guys are freed up, make one-on-one, make plays one-on-one. Now you take him away, it stresses everybody on the defense. So, listen, Buffalo's a very good team. Don't get me wrong, no question about that. Yeah. Great quarterback, but we can't understand the loss of Von Miller.
But you talk about the quarterback, and I remember at some point in the season we kept saying, hey, look, Josh Allen's trying to do too much. Now, does he have to carry this team going forward?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, he already accounts for so much of their offense anyway. Yeah. Like, I don't know how much more Josh Allen can do